Hello people, welcome back to the channel. Now, there are currently 10 active UFC champions. There are 12 weight classes but only 10 champions. And in this video, as you can tell from this lovely bit of artwork I've done for you, I am going to be going through and saying which of the UFC champions is going to lose their belt from first to last. Right, so we're going to start with who I think is going to lose it first, and we're going to end with who I think will hold it when the other 9 have already lost it. So I'm not going to waste no more time on an intro, I'm going to get straight into it. Just looking at this slide wants me to get a rusty spoon and fucking carve my eyes out, boys. But I do think the first man who's going to lose his UFC belt is Sean Strickland. The simple reason is he's the first one that already has a book title fight that I think will lose. I think Leon is going to beat Colby, and I definitely think that Pantoja is going to beat Royval. But I think Drickers will get the better of Sean. I've already touched on this in a previous video. Sean is very good when you're moving away from him. Basically what I'm saying is if you're a back foot fighter, then Sean is very good at literally chasing you down, hunting you down and beating you up. If you meet him in the middle, that's when he has problems. And Drickers is not a back foot fighter. You don't need me to tell you that. He will meet him in the middle, and I think he hits harder. I think he's a better grappler, and I think he's much more of a submission threat. So with that being said, I do think that Drickers will take the belt. I'm not sure exactly how he'll do it, but I do think he'll win the belt from Sean. After that, like I put here, I could see him rematching Jared Cannonier, because to be honest, if you look at the middleweight division right now, it's pretty obvious that Usman is going to fight Whittaker. That leaves Chimaev and Adesanya, which I like. I think you do Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen. And that just leaves you with Cannonier and Strickland. You could do Cannonier and Costa, actually thinking about it. But I do think they may give him a Cannonier rematch. And if they don't, I don't know what they do. But unfortunately, like I put it, I don't think he'd win the belt back. I think it was the perfect storm of Adesanya at that time with all the mind games. And the fact, like I said, that Adesanya is back foot. Looking at the rest of the middleweight top 7 or 8, I don't think he beats many of them, to be honest. After him, I think will be Volkanovski. Now, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of proper knowledgeable people in this sport, and it's very, very like 50-50. A lot of people are saying Volk, a lot are saying Tupulia. I think the main reason why I'm all in on Ilya is just the turnaround. If you get chinned badly by a head kick in October, why are you defending your belt in February? It just doesn't make any sense. I've also, like you can see here, I do think obviously Volkanovski gets an immediate rematch. I think he'd lose that as well. I think once he loses at 145, I think he'll be done with the division. Which is why, as a cheeky little side note at the bottom there, I think that after he loses the immediate rematch against Ilya, I think he'll move up to 155 on a permanent basis and try and make a run there. And if he loses again, especially in a bad fashion, I could see him retiring from there. But yeah, that's what I think. He loses against Ilya in February, loses a rematch, and then moves up to lightweight permanently, which hurts to say. I love these two men here, but I think they're both going to lose. Next up, I'm actually going to go with both of the women. I think number 3, or the third one, to lose their belt is going to be Zhang Weili. However, like I've written down on there, I think she's going to vacate rather than lose a fight. I think she will fight Yang Xiaonan. I actually put that in a UFC 298 card builder as the co-main event of Volk Ilya. I think she'll beat Yan and then vacate. Like we've been hearing rumblings about a move up to flyweight for at least 18 months, maybe more like 2 years. I think it would suit her as well. She's very, very physical at 115. I'd be interested if that was to move up to 125. Like if you take a look at Andrade, she moved up to 125 as a really, really, really physical strawweight, and she had real success and got all the way to a title shot. So I think Jan could definitely do the same. And in terms of the rest of the 115 pound weight class, like I put here, I think there will then be a vacant belt fight, and I think it'll be Tatiana Suarez that wins it. Who she fights, I don't know. You could maybe do Rose Namajunas coming back down. You could do an Amanda Lemos, whatever you want to do, but I think Tatiana would claim the vacant belt. And only a couple of months after her, I've put the flyweight champion, Alexa Grasso. I think the worst matchup for her in the division is Erin Blanchfield, and I think she'll get the shot next, and I think she'll beat her. Honestly, I think she'll probably sub her after completely dominating on the ground, if I'm being completely honest with you. That fight, I would put her about UFC 301. I think you could put it on 300 as like a co-main or a feature, but April, May-ish is kind of where I'd put that fight. And as I've whacked at the bottom there, I wouldn't, if that was to happen, I wouldn't mind her against Zhang Weili. And if Zhang can beat the former champion, then she gets the title shot. I mean, you could give her one straight away, but I like a person in a new weight class to prove they're supposed to be there first, if that makes sense. John Jones was an exception, of course, but no. I think the main thing I'm trying to say here is I think that Grasso will lose against Erin Blanchfield kind of middle of next year, and she'll be the fourth current champion to lose their belt. Number 5, I think it'll be John Jones. I'm not going to waste that much time on old Jonesy, but again, a little bit like Zhang Weili, I think it'll be a vacate job rather than a lose job. He'll fight Stipe, maybe MSG next year, sort of the back end of next year, definitely around there. And then he'll retire. In turn, I think Aspinall would have probably had to defend his interim belt in the meantime, which is so dodgy. But I think he will have to do that. And then when Jones retires, I think Aspinall, up he goes into undisputed. Even if he beats Stipe, he's not the heavyweight GOAT. You can't have 2 fights in a weight class and be the GOAT of that entire division. That's just not how it works. Yes, you can call him the greatest of all time in the sport, that's fine. But the greatest heavyweight of all time? No. No chance. Roast me in the comments all you want. I probably won't read them, and if I do, I'll just give you some shit back, my friend. Okay? It's true. Like it or lump it. Next up, the mad bastard himself, Alex fucking Pereira. Just look at his face. He's just such a scary bloke. Anyway, I think he's going to beat Jamal Hill. Around about the same time as I think that Grasso loses against Erin Blanchfield. Around about May, June, UFC 301, 302, somewhere around there is where I'd put that fight. Then I think maybe January of next year or December of this year, either January of 2025 or December next year. Yeah, that's right. He'll fight Ankalaev and lose. I'm not going to lie. I'd love to see him knock him out, because Ankalaev's got some... He's inbred, but that's fine, you know what I mean? I'm not here to judge, I'm here to talk about fights. So yeah, he'll beat Hill and lose against Magomed, in my opinion. Only because I think Ankalaev is much more of a mixed martial artist, whereas Alex has proved he's got some good submission defence. He's very good off his back a lot of the time. But I think Ankalaev is smart enough of a grappler to be able to hold him down for longer than Yuri Prochazka and Jan Blachowicz could, by a long way. After that, you're looking at sort of middle of 2025. I think Adesanya may actually finally get off his fucking sofa and fight again. And I think you just do Adesanya against Izzy 3 at light heavyweight when he gets a title shot. I don't mind that at all. That sounds good to me. Actually, do you know what? Fuck it. I say you put the BMF title on the line. I don't think Adesanya's a BMF, but I think it would entice him to fight Alex again. And Alex is a BMF. So, hey, that's just an early thought, but no. I think Alex will be number 6 to lose his belt. Numero 7. Yeah, that's right. I got a B in Spanish, not just a pretty face. I think it'll be Leon Edwards. I think Leon's the first fighter on this list that will actually defend their belt twice. I think he's going to beat Colby in about a week's time. I do. I think low kick's going to be massive in that fight. And Bilal, he could beat him with one hand behind his back. I'm not going to lie. He'll lose against Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, I'll put TKO here because I think he'll land some early takedowns and get Leon defensively grappling. And Leon's chin. Okay. How can I put this? If you're getting rocked by Nathan Donald Diaz in the 5th round and you literally look like you're half dead and you're about to literally cave your legs in, your chin has to be called into question. I'm not saying he's got a bad chin. He obviously has been hit before and he hasn't been knocked out as far as I'm aware. But Shavkat's one of these people that if you are a grappler, he will smack you up on the feet. And if you're a striker, he'll take you down and submit you. But even with Jeff Neal, who is a striker, he beat him up on the feet as well. So I think Leon will have the grappling threat in his mind, and I think he'll leave his hands low, or he may try and defend a takedown. And I think Shavkat at that point is going to catch him with a shot and put him out and TKO him. So that's how I think he loses his belt. And then after that, I could see him going to 185. He's already been saying, I'll fight the winner of Sean against Duplessis at 300. No, you won't. Shut up. But I think 185 is manageable for Leon. And then number 8, third from last, I think it'll be Sean O'Malley. Let's start with what we know. He's fighting Marlon Vera, and I think he'll beat Marlon Vera. It could be a decision. I've seen some people saying it'll be a UD. Wouldn't shock me, but I think it'll be a knockout. Now, Vera's got a very good chin. It's made out of granite. He is very good at taking a shot, but Marlon Vera is going to have to close the distance on O'Malley if he wants to land anything. And if you get anywhere near his range, he will throw something with the power to knock you out. I think one of them will catch him. Oh, I think I've misspelt Marab there and put Goblin. That was a mistake in the pre of this, voice stuff. That was in the editing process, which I did before. Anyway, yeah, Marab. I think he'll have a lot of the same issues that Marlon Vera will. Again, if you're going to get anywhere near O'Malley, you have to get close to him. He's so long for that division. And I think that Marab will get caught. I mean, all he does is... What does he do? He fails takedowns. 47 of them, in fact. But no, it's just... I think, like I said, if you're going to beat Sean O'Malley, you have to get close to him. And they're both going to have to get close. And I think over a 25-minute period, Sean will land something that will probably put them both out. Then I think he's going to fight Corey Sandhagen probably March 2025, if I had to put a date on it, and he'll beat him. Sandhagen can play at range with O'Malley. I'm not sure if he's longer than O'Malley, but he's definitely not that much shorter, like arm span-wise, if he is shorter. When you mix in the fact that Sandhagen's offensive wrestling has got so much better recently, he can get O'Malley thinking. He'll think, shit, I can't actually beat this guy up at range, and he can take me down. What am I going to do here? And I think when you're dealing with someone like O'Malley, who is all about making his opponents guess. If you can then make him guess as like a Uno reverse card, then that's going to help you win a fight, definitely. And also, like I've whacked at the bottom there, I do think that if Sandhagen was to beat O'Malley in this made-up timeline that I've got here for you, I think he could win a rematch. Sean does actually strike me as a guy who does learn from things. Like, he does watch a lot of his tape, and he's very good at refining his skills. I think if he was to lose, let's say, a UD against Corey Sandhagen, if they rematched, I could see him finishing him. I think he's one of those people. So yeah, I think that Sean will defend his belt twice, then lose it, and then maybe win a rematch and get it back. But no, I think he will hold on to his belt for about another 18 months-ish. Second from last, I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev. It's just boring at this point, isn't it? He's just very good at fighting. We just have to admit that, don't we? Even though he, well, you know what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it again. I don't want to lose all my money. So yeah, you know what I'm saying, boys. I think he'll defend the lightweight belt 3 more times, and namely, I think it'll be Oliveira, then Gaethje, and then probably Sarukian again. Then I think he is another one who will vacate rather than lose a fight. I'll go up to 170 for a bit. Try and be a double champ, overtake the legacy of Habib. I think he could get the welterweight belt as well. I wouldn't say it's likely, because there are a lot of killers at 170, but he could definitely win it. And regardless of if he wins it or not, I don't think it will be long after he moved up that he would retire. I mean, there's already been rumblings about him not having long left now. He's only in his early 30s. I just don't think the Dagestanis like fighting that much past 30, to be honest. But either way, I think we won't see him for much longer, but I think we'll see him dominate at 155 for at least another 2 years. And the current UFC champion that will hold the belt for the longest period of time, in my opinion, is going to be Alejandro Pantoja. He's just too well-rounded. Like, against a striker, he could take you down and submit you, and against a grappler, he could beat you up on the feet. He is completely tough as nails. He's got a lot of weapons in his arsenal in terms of loads of different submissions and a lot of different striking techniques. He's one of the most well-rounded guys in the whole organisation right now. I underestimated him a lot. I thought that Brandon was going to beat him, and he didn't. So I think he has the beating at 125 now for a substantial period of time with Figueiredo gone, and I just think that him against Brandon is one of those where he'll always have Moreno's number. So I think he will defend 6 times. That's a bit, maybe 4 or 5. However, I do think that by the end of his time, I think he will have definitely cemented himself as the second best in the division's history, obviously behind DJ. A little bit like what Kamaru Usman is to GSP in a way. So yeah, that's me list, ladies and gentlemen. If you agree, that's great, let me know. If you don't, you can get fucked, but still let me know. I love me comments. But yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been uploading recently. There's been some shit going on, but I'm all good now. So I will see you more regular. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, yeah. That's it. I'm just rambling now. I'm going to stop the video. Bye.